Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. On this episode, we finish up the first part of Transformers EarthSpark Season 1 with a full review of episodes 9 and 10. Today is Friday, February 24th, 2023, and this is episode 326 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that almost added a The Last of Us review show to the network, but didn't want to be accused of making clickbait. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
The terrific Trish from More Than Meets the Ear and Swerve's Bar.
What's up, guys?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Howdy. Let's talk Transformers.
As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out. It's your contributions that keep the show going, and we really appreciate it. So if you are not a Donatron and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up, either on Patreon or PayPal. And if you do, you get some bonus perks, some merchandise at the higher tiers, and lots of bonus content, bonus episodes we put out that are available exclusively to our Donatreons through our Patreon page. One of those exclusives is our show, We Like Big Bots. And that's done by Daryl and Dr. Pants. So they talk about lots of big bots that they have in their collection. They talk about all the different variants and different models, and just to show some love for some figures within Transformers. Daryl's showing off a big bot right now. So that is available exclusively to our Donatrons. We've got 10 episodes up already. More will be coming soon. We're on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but we'll be getting those back up, more coming soon. And in addition to that, we've also got bonus content from our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And this week we have Empire of Rust episode 96, The Party Associate Will See You, which I'm told is a Portal reference.
This episode is a triumph.
So we've got the bonus uncut version of this episode available to our Donatrons a week early. But if you want just the main regular episode that comes out on the Empire of Rust feed, that's at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And that will be out this coming Monday, February 27th. So just a couple more days. It will be out in the free main feed. But if you are a Donatron, you can get it right now, get it early. So, and all the bonus content contained in those bonus episodes. So enjoy. Again, we have Trish back with us for Alt Mode. Thanks for hanging out with us this week, Trish.
Anytime.
And I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on Transformers EarthSpark. So let's jump in and talk about some Transformers EarthSpark. All right, well, we are wrapping up the first part of Transformers EarthSpark. We are covering episodes 9 and 10, which is the Age of Evolution, part 1 and 2. So it was pretty much just one big, long episode. Kind of like the first two episodes was a two-parter. This is a two-parter. And this closes out the first chunk of Transformers EarthSpark episodes. But the second chunk is coming in just a couple of weeks. So the second chunk of EarthSpark episodes will be on Paramount Plus on March 3rd. So you've only got a less than 2 weeks to wait for that. So that's
so
coming
excited.
soon. Yeah. And it seems to be ramping up. So with these last two episodes that we're checking out here, these have definitely raised the stakes, and it was very exciting episodes. So we're going to talk about these. Of course, this is a spoiler-filled show, so If you have not watched Transformers EarthSpark yet, stop the podcast, turn it off, go watch the episodes, and then come back. And Daryl, you have to be here. Sorry. We're gonna spoil it for you. I'm sorry. You should have read the memo and watched the episodes before the podcast.
Gotta do your homework.
What are you talking about? I know what's going on. Somebody who is completely unprepared and not part of the team would be here without doing their due diligence.
Founding member transmissions, everyone. Founding member. It wouldn't be the first time one of us have done a review without actually watching the
Lots of secrets.
Don't tell Josh, but I haven't watched a few of the Cybertron episodes we've reviewed on More Than Meets the Air. Or I'd have them going on like as we're doing the episode. I'm like fast clicking or like reading. I did it once. I read through the transcript of the episode. I just read the transcript, so I at least knew what characters were in the show, and that was it. That was like, I don't remember if I told him or not, but he's gonna find out now.
Tia Bookie's a great cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. That is awesome.
At least 75%
We're not
of the
alone.
people on here have watched it.
Yeah. But I mean, I think you get a pass for that. Cybertron is a terrible show.
It's so bad.
Look,
the best part is the thundercrack, like the bad accents. It's just hysterical. And the terrible, corny one-liners. You can't decide whether you want to cringe or bust out laughing. And oh my gosh! But yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I've suffered through a couple of those.
So in conclusion, spoilers now. So we're warning you.
Turn back now.
Warning. This is your warning.
Turn back.
All right. Transformers EarthSpark, Age of Evolution. So this is capping off the first chunk of episodes. We've been reviewing these 2 episodes at a time already, and we've had a little bit up and down because since we review them 2 episodes at a time, one episode will be kind of like, the cutesy family, kids learn a lesson episode. And then one episode will be, an interesting Transformers lore heavy episode. And, we're getting a little bit of whiplash, but these 2 episodes here, it was all Transformers lore, fighting, action, everything you want from Transformers.
Everything Daryl was looking forward to in these episodes.
Poor Daryl.
Yes.
Daryl, just go watch it afterwards and pretend you didn't hear anything. Just turn off your listening ears, and then you can go watch it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we start off. This episode starts off with the Ghost and the Autobots planning an outreach event day to show how human Autobot relations are going well. Although I thought Ghost was like a secret government agency, so I don't know how you also it seems weird to have like a government here's your friendly government agency, Ghost.
That
doesn't. Isn't it like Shield in the Iron Man movie where he had a hat or something and was called out and having his logo on for the secret agency?
But so the Optimus Prime and Megatron are there to foster human Cybertronian relationships. Megatron is still a little salty because he feels like the Decepticons are getting a raw deal, and he's not wrong.
They are.
But Prime is of course they're friends now, so Prime is trying to convince him no, this is the way to go, and of course, and then everything was fine. They had a fun day, and that was it, right? No, that's not what happened. You had Skywarp and Nova Storm crash in the party. They came and they want to steal Optimus Prime's arm for some reason.
No, because Mandroid wants an arm that has
Mandroid wants the other arm.
Yes,
he's got the right arm. He needs the left arm.
And Optimus apparently has an integrated weapon.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that a lot of these rogue Decepticons think they can take on both Optimus Prime and Megatron one-on-one. It seems like they're a little bit outmatched, but they are confident. And I thought it was interesting also that Skywarp is female here and Novastorm is so we have two female Seeker Cons, which was interesting. And also no one like realizes that Skywarp can teleport, and they like continually throughout the episode like they capture
forgetting.
they keep forgetting that she can teleport.
Guys. And if anybody should know that Skywarp can teleport, it's Megatron, who she's served under for like thousands of millions of years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it's like the Men in Black thing, or like she teleports and just flashes you, and you just forget that it happened.
Yeah,
that's why they're always so surprised.
It's a built-in flashy thing.
Yeah. So so that I mean, and I like the teleportation effect. I thought it was really well done, but they needed some kind of device to like inhibitor claw or something to put on her to keep her from teleporting. But they never did that.
Well, I mean,
the only time she no longer teleports is when they put actual Cybertronian stasis cuffs on her at the end of the episode, when Optimus and Bumblebee have finally caught her, because until then they're using human design technology, which understandably so probably can't match that integrated Cybertronian ability. So it would make sense, because at the end she no longer teleports, and they successfully summon Ghost for a recall and recapture. But at that point, that they use Bumblebee's cuffs, his stasis cuffs. They don't use the human ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think the thing that they used on the cassettes in the last episode was it immediately forced them to change to alt mode. That probably would have worked, but apparently they don't have those anymore.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're like F-18, F-22 based, and that wouldn't do much for them not being able to get away.
Right.
Yeah. I'm stuck in jet mode. Guess I'll fly away.
I'm stuck in a jet mode that can go like Mach 3. Okay, that's the problem.
Yeah. So that was a pretty big battle. You had Megatron and Prime, but Megatron and Prime, they they're the kings, so they easily beat Skywarp and Novastorm, but they don't capture him because they escape, because Skywarp can teleport. So she teleports and she helps Novastorm escape, and they get away. So, and yeah, it turns out they were working for Mandroid. So Mandroid in his mission to eliminate Earth of all Cybertronians is not above like paying Decepticons to work for him. And the Decepticons seem like I mean, I guess a job's a job, but I don't really understand what the Decepticons get out of it. But yeah, Mandroid is upset that they failed, but he has a new plan. They uses them as bait, and so they pretend to be captured. Ghost detects their location, but then when Prime goes out to see him, it was a trap, because they were, it was all hologram trickery, and they were there to they were there to oh no, that was not Optimus. It was Megatron's win.
It was Megatron, and
it was Megatron to win.
Because
Megatron and Dot went because Optimus and Bumblebee had a new mission, because they want to find out the place where the Terran Transformers were born and figure out how they came to be. And they do find that the cave where they originally came online, and it has the Ember Stone, which is one of the 13 original Prime artifacts, and it can create new Transformer life. And this was the spoiler way back in episode 1 of the series, where in the credits of if you watch the credits of episode 1 of the series, it says Clancy Brown as Quintus Prime, which Quintus Prime is not named in episode 1. But here, we find out that the Ember Stone was the artifact of Quintus Prime, one of the 13 Primes. And yes, it's Clancy Brown doing the voiceover for that. So they find the Ember Stone, but just as they are, they get it out and they're trying to figure out how it works, maybe trying to create some new Terrans. But the Novastorm and Skywarp detect Prime and Bumblebee and go down to attack them, because they tell them that they have Dot, Malto, and Megatron captured. So, they're blackmailing them to come surrender. They don't surrender though, so they fight. Bumblebee and Prime fight, and meanwhile the kids, the human kids and the Terrans are trapped underground in the cave because the fight gets rocky and it causes a cave in. And they make Mo Malto makes a wish for help, and Quintus Prime hears her and creates 3 new Terrans. So we've got 5 total new Terran Transformers. So these 3 Terrans are hashtag. That's a very 2020s name.
Adorable. It's so cute.
What was the other one?
Jawbreaker
and Nightshade.
And Nightshade. Yeah. So and we have the first. This comes in later. We have the first non-binary Transformer character in the show. So that's cool. And we have these 3 characters are created, and they immediately realize that they are still connected to the human, the Malto family, and they feel their connection, so they know that they are family and can trust them, and they help the kids escape from the cave after it's caved in, and after the 2 seekers have fled the the Prime and Bumblebee capture the seekers, so they get sent. Ghost goes to pick them up. So we've got we've got Megatron captured, we've got Dot captured, but the kids and Prime and Bumblebee have to mount a rescue plan. They should have called in Lita 1 or Wheeljack or RC. We have other
all of them.
Yeah,
or all of them.
I don't know.
We have other Autobots to help out, but
I don't know which Autobots are known to the world and which are hidden, because you have like RC has the ghost insignia, but like Wheeljack didn't.
I know Wheeljack's hidden because he said he was in hiding. Him and Bumblebee were both in hiding.
So, maybe the whole celebration is like they're, they know about Megatron, Optimus, and RC, and maybe a handful of others.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, when Skywarp sees Bumblebee and she's like, "Oh, you're back from the dead," and you have a midlife crisis alt mode. So
that was hilarious. The one-liners in these episodes were totally unhinged and 10 out of 10. I loved them all. There's so many good things in this episode.
Yeah, so I mean, just like Bumblebee going from a VW Bug to a muscle sports car, and she's calling out a midlife crisis alt mode. I thought that was.
I mean, can you blame him?
well, we've seen in the promos for the new episodes coming out that he does have a more G1-esque alt mode at some point in the future. So, maybe that sticks with him. And
well, maybe that's a flashback. We don't know.
It could be a flashback.
That could be a flashback. We'll have to see.
I mean, if I had the ability to scan anything to figure out an alternate form, I would go look at it.
I would be a sports car.
Yeah, look at the most expensive cars. And
yeah, absolutely.
Another thing I thought was neat, and when they were trying to use the Ember Stone, Alex was telling the kids, "You've got the touch," and you hear just a few notes from the song.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yep. Very cool. All right, so I think that was all of part 1, and then part 2 is the rescue mission to rescue Dot and Megatron from Mandroid. Mandroid's got Megatron like strapped into a device and is cutting off his arm with the fusion cannon.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So don't want to see so Mandroid already has his right arm replaced, and he's cutting off Megatron's right arm. So he's going to have 2 right arms.
Cannon,
yeah.
He commented on how he wants the integrated weapon.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Look at this poor guy. I love everything about this Megatron. I really do. I love his relationship with Dot Malto. I love that they work together. I love that they're like kind of like they obviously used to not get along, and now they're super tight. And I love his loyalty to her and her loyalty to him. It's so cute. And he's like, "Nah, screw you. I'm not giving anybody up."
Yeah.
And he's quipping off the whole time. I love it. I love sassy Megatron. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I still want to know what the backstory is, like how he became like
Absolutely.
What happened to the Decepticons that he, like, as the leader of the Decepticons, he basically said, no, we're making peace and we're moving forward. And how did, like, we haven't seen any other regular Decepticons who are going along with it. Although I did notice in the episode when Skywarp and Novastorm are flying alone, they're like, what our choices are, be on the run or work for this guy. And then I think Novastorm says, can we be Autobots? Is that a choice? And so, so some Decepticons are like, yeah, we want to, peace is okay too. Maybe we can just settle down.
The Decepticons are just under a lot of peer pressure, and that's that's why they don't.
Yeah. And I'm thinking there's still, I mean, obviously we see Soundwave, and in the comics, Soundwave goes off and makes his own thing while the Decepticons are still doing their thing. I'm thinking, it could always be reversed here, where the Decepticons, Megatron is trying to branch off the Decepticons into this new, less deadly branch, and then Soundwave is like, no, screw that. And then that's he holds loyal a lot of Decepticons, and you still see Starscream. We have no idea how long Starscream has been a prisoner for, and if he took over the Decepticons when Megatron decided to join up with Ghost and work towards, he realized that the goal that he'd been fighting towards was futile. And or how many times Starscream's escaped. We don't know what other Decepticons are out there. If there's a Galvatron, like, there's unlimited possibilities on why the Decepticons could be so heavily influenced to continue this fruitless battle.
Yeah. And why did Bumblebee have to fake his own death? That's also a question. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Unless it's which is entirely possible. Optimus doesn't trust Ghost, which I think he has said before. And he doesn't want to put all his eggs in one basket.
We're definitely seeing that. Like, I've commented throughout the series that Optimus just came off like a jerk, and these two episodes were the first ones where I didn't feel that way, and it was more of an Optimus I recognized. And I think it is that where when he is doing the Ghost stuff, he has a slightly different persona, and when he is just around people he trusts, he lets his guard down a little bit.
Yeah. It's really interesting because we're seeing, like you said, this Optimus that we're seeing is a very different Optimus than we're used to. It's almost, Megatron is this more relatable character that's concerned about how his people are being treated, and Optimus is not showing that same level of concern unless Optimus knows something that Megatron doesn't and that we don't, and that's why he's A, still working with Ghost, and B, being so cranky about it.
Yeah. He's had to compromise.
So cranky. Yeah, for some reason that we don't know.
It's like some like uncomfortable compromise. I'm sure we'll get. We'll find out in the next bunch of episodes.
Yeah. One thing I loved in this episode is if there's like I haven't done a show review with you guys before, so there's an order. Feel free to tell me to shut my trap, because I will talk incessantly. So. I was going to say, one of the things that I really, really enjoyed in this episode was the use of that Cybertronian lore, that Quintus Prime. I love that Alex is like a total historian. And that they talked about Quintus and the Ember Stone, and that was his gift from the Primes. And I always love it when the shows integrate that Cybertronian into their on-screen stuff. So I know in a few episodes back, I wasn't here reviewing it with you guys, but they did have that like prophecy up on the wall. It actually did translate. I forget what it translated into now. Something about in times of need, those who have brave hearts will rise to the task. Something like that. Something along the lines of people who what Optimus says all the time. And what it said when Mo Malto made that wish to Quintus Prime and all that text scrolled up the screen, it actually did say something. It said evolution of hope, and it was just repeating over and over and over again. I've been recently brushing up on my Cybertronian. I was pretty rusty at it for a while, but I figure with TFCon coming up, it's good to be able to read it fluently again. So, but yeah, so it did say evolution of hope, and all three strands were the same. They all said evolution.
Interesting.
I'm trying to find that.
Yeah, and you hear the voiceover also says evolution of hope. So yeah, that matches the text
I never
there.
assume that they match.
Yeah, I know this symbol is supposed to be Quintus Prime's symbol.
Yeah. Let's see. Emberstone. It's a ways in. It's when they're getting attacked by the Arachnomechs.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna take it off
close.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Don't want to give.
But yeah, I always love when they do the Cybertronian, because it's so much fun and it's that whole other little language. It's a lot of fun.
Here we go. Oops. Hold on. I mean, it probably helps that you have people like Nick Roche and stuff working on the series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah, so all that it says evolution of hope. So it does actually say something, which is cool. I always love when they do that. It's not just because for a while when they were doing a Transformers Cyberverse, it was just random. It was just random stuff. The big letters would make sense, the big words, but everything else was not. And then when they did the Netflix show, even the tiniest little stuff, and in the intro, all those planets they had with like the Cybertronian text were hints as to what planets they were going to go to throughout Earthrise. They actually had Easter eggs hidden in there, and it was super cool. But that's the wrong show. We're here to talk about EarthSpark.
and doing something like this where it actually says something is better than the Cybertronian version of Lorem Ipsum.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite contributions this episode. And the lore. I love the lore heavy stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, when we now have the new Terrans, we have the old Terrans, the new Terrans, the human kids, Prime and Bumblebee, and they form a plan to go rescue Megatron and Dot. So the new Terrans are going to pretend to be Decepticons. This does not
this
work
is the best part of the entire episode. The entire hashtag. Oh my god.
Yeah. So they are going to capture Prime, and then meanwhile Bumblebee and Alex and the other human kids will sneak around and rescue Megatron and Dot. So yeah, it
fails really horribly.
You know, born you're born an hour ago, and then you got to pretend to be a Decepticon. And,
okay, but the chibi flashback with Skywarp is the best.
We were roommates in evil school.
We were roommates in bad guy school. I was dying. And she randomly picks up this like totally out there accent, like trying to be like Swindle or something, and I was just dying the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was great. And the only
Mandroid
one
doesn't fall for it.
The only one who's even remotely pretending to be captured is Optimus. The other two Terrans are just like, do. They're not even concerned. They're not even upset. And Optimus is the only one who actually looks angry. He's look at this. This is freaking fabulous. I love everything about this.
Yep.
Optimus is the only one even remotely playing close to his part. He thought he was going to have these people come in here and just like talk to Mandroid normally and be like, hey, we brought these bots in. We know you wanted them. We know you have so-and-so through whatever means, right? Theoretically, other Decepticons totally blow it. They blow it worse than Optimus probably ever thought that they could blow it. And Twitch and Thrash are just standing there. They're not even concerned. I mean, it's like their second time being captured ever. And the first time they almost died. You would think they'd be slightly more concerned about the entire experience. Also, the Decepticon decals. They just slapped stickers on these bots.
They went to the in-universe toy hacks.
They went to the in-universe toy hacks, yeah. And he's like, we asked them to come with us. It's the stupidest thing ever, but I love it. I love that they tried it. I mean, but that's something that if you were born an hour ago and told to go and pretend to do this thing, you would probably do. And I love that they were consistent with that, even though it made Optimus's job so much harder. It was absolutely hilarious. Oh man.
Yeah, so things don't go well, surprisingly.
Shocker. I'm surprised Optimus didn't have a plan like Z.
Mandroid is not fooled. And so they have to fight their way out. They do fight their way out. They manage to they free Megatron, free Dot. They all get out.
It's epic, by the way. That whole scene where Optimus breaks his stuff off and then chucks an arachnomech and it hits Megatron's arm and he goes, whoop, whoop, pshaw. I love it. The fight scenes in this episode were great. The other ones, like, meh. But this one,
they saved all the budget for this one.
Yeah, exactly. They spent all the money on these 2 episodes. So I mean, now we've got, in addition to that epic fight scene, they escape everything. They're like, okay, but then Mandroid's got another ace up his sleeve because his entire base transforms into a giant, like, walking monster mech thing with a giant cannon on the front. And
it's so random. Yeah. It's so random.
How did he build that? I mean, even with all his little spider mechs, that's a lot of work to build that giant walking base. But
Jeremy, did your light forget you were in there?
Yeah, the time was after an hour.
But yeah, in this battle and in the battle earlier in like the first half of this episode, I love the Force perspective. It always frustrates me when shows take humans and Cybertronians and put them together and they fight like they're used to it and that it's not, this tremendous size differentiation. And I love that even in this like kind of low budget show, they made sure to reinforce the idea that, hey, we've got 5.5-foot humans and we've got 45-foot Transformers and they can't fight together. In the scene on Ghost, that's clear they have the whole Force perspective thing going. And this one is a little bit different, but they definitely make sure that they're not equal. And I like that.
Yeah. And one thing I'm wondering at TFCon, how many people are going to be wearing outfits like that?
Oh.
And is Josh Perez going to at least try to find like a jacket or something with all his Bumblebee?
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, Alex is Josh Perez to a T. Just the Bumblebee worship.
Yeah. I would want one of those ties. I
that tie is great.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, so big battle, big monster tank thing. They all come together, they work together. The new Terrans, the old Terrans, Megatron, Optimus. I liked Megatron and Twitch. Like Megatron is this giant, like he's the giant helicopter daddy, and she's a little baby drone.
They even had like this front facing shot where it's like Megatron, he's like he's coming up to go and wreak some havoc on their Actomech, and then she's tiny little Twitch and she's just hanging out, and it was great. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so close.
Oh yeah, it's from behind.
No, there's one later on where he's coaching her. It's after he warns her not to be careful, not to be too cocky. There's like this front shot, and it's little tiny baby Trish. It's under his left wing on your front. If you're looking at the screen, it's his right wing, and it's great. I just rewatched the episode earlier, so I'm like, I've got a whole little page of notes about all the things that I liked about this episode.
I can't find it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a big battle. They figure out that if they take out all the cameras on the thing, then Mandroid will be blind and he won't be able to shoot them. They do that. They succeed. But he's still got the big ass cannon, and even firing blind, it's doing a lot of damage. So Megatron, plans to take that out, but then while they're arguing, Twitch takes the opportunity and she flies out on her own.
Yeah. Well, I think by this point, Megatron and Optimus are both kind of beat to hell. They've both had their arms halfway cut off. They've had battle patch-ups. They're both arguing about which one of them is going to go out there and probably die. And then she's like, grandpas are talking. I'm just going to go get stuff done.
Yep. But everyone else backs her up, and so they do it, and she has the action shot. She slices the wires on the cannon. It fires wildly and then knocks the thing in the whole base in the. I think it was it in like the reservoir or pool or something.
I think it's in the San Francisco Bay.
Yard. Yeah.
So
I think it's interesting that Mandroid's all cut up about how the Autobot versus Decepticon Battle of San Francisco that they talk about that the Autobots caused collateral damage, and that's why he's so pissed about the Autobots and the Decepticons and everybody even existing on Earth. And he's out here like, I can't see them. I'm just going to blindly shoot my huge ass laser cannon and cause as much collateral damage as possible so that I can get these bots, hopefully, maybe get close to hitting or nicking one of these guys.
Yep.
It's so interesting to watch. They did a good job of this devolution of this character from his moral standards into this chaos and evil that's just easier to embrace. For a kid, like that's pretty good. That's pretty good character development, showing his transition from someone who's relatable from an understandable point.
And apparently, he and Alex know each other from the past, and they didn't go into that at all. I'm interested to find out what that background is.
I thought they did in one of the earlier episodes where he said they worked together. They were both they both studied Cybertronian studies or something, or he was the brains and Mandroid worked on the technology and he knew the history behind it. I feel like they touched on that somewhere.
Well, I thought like there in the episode where they did the it was not the chupacabra, whatever the Filipino version of the chupacabra is, the Filipino monster thing. In that episode when they were fighting when they're fighting the spider mechs, Alex recognizes the spider. He looks at the mech and he's like, "This I recognize this technology because." And that's your first hint that he worked with Mandroid before. And then in this episode, when Mandroid sees him on the camera, he's like, "Alex Malto," and he actually like doesn't shoot him. He like actually turns his gun away to keep from shooting Alex, which is surprise. He doesn't continue that later, but
there's so much background that I want to know about this show. Why did Megatron turn? Why did they stop fighting? Why is Bumblebee in hiding? Why did they know each other? What happened in the Battle of San Francisco? Like, I just want to know it all. I need a prequel to this show.
Yeah, so I mean, so we don't know, and we don't even know. Do we even know Mandroid's real name? I don't think we ever got his actual name.
I don't think so.
So we'll probably explore that in future episodes with
Dr. Meridian. Dr. Meridian.
Oh, okay.
I guess I do say it.
That's
he's like, I go by Mandroid now.
Yeah, it was in the
Dark and brooding. Someone's having a midlife crisis and it's not Bumblebee.
It's Diedrich Bader is his voice actor. I forgot that he played dude in Office Space. Next door neighbor.
Yeah, that's right. He's
Isn't
also
Dr. Meridian also the guy from Bolt.
I don't know. I don't know if he's
I need to
Bolt.
look now.
But,
no. Like that character name. Like I thought that was the bad guy's name.
Oh. I don't remember. But
that's my age showing. Sorry, guys. Oh no, it was Dr. Calico.
Oh, that's different.
My bad. He was in Diedrich Bader was in Bolt, but he played a cat, one of the cats.
No,
so yeah,
6 degrees of separation.
Disregard.
But Diedrich Bader was also the voice of Batman in Batman the Brave and the Bold. So that was that like Batman cartoon from like 10 or 15 years ago. So he's done voice acting, lots of stuff before. But yeah, so Mandroid is defeated. It looks like he's dead. He's probably not dead, but it looks like his ship is destroyed. So everyone thinks he's dead, so probably he's going to come back later on, and we'll finally figure out like what the connection is between him and Alex Malto. But that's for future episodes. Right now, everyone's just happy that they're safe. The new Terrans do not get alt modes yet, so I guess they're saving that for the next batch of episodes. So I'm looking forward to see. Like, I hope we're gonna get toys of these characters too. So we've got 3 new Terran characters, and they will each get new alt modes. I hope so. We'll have to see, but that is these 2 episodes wrapping up the first part of season 1 of Transformers EarthSpark. It was a very exciting conclusion.
I think we have had much worse season 1. Like
absolutely.
Cyberverse ended really well, but it started off really rough. And I think this one has been fairly consistent. I mean, like you said, we had some ups and downs, but on the whole, when they are on this Transformer part of the story, it's been pretty solid all the way through.
Yeah.
And it's much more like this show is like, for being a kids show, it's dealing with a lot of like complex themes and dealing with the whole post-war, reconciliation and like and lots of stuff that you don't usually see from a kids show where you're trying to keep things kind of simple. So
one of the things I like that it talks about is how it makes you assume that Mandroid probably lost his arm, or at least got close to death and lost his arm in that Battle of San Francisco, and how he kind of uses that as like a stepping stone for why he's so angry and everything. And then, Dot Malto reveals that, she lost her leg in one of the battles. It may not have been, I don't know if they said it was the Battle of San Francisco or not, but she didn't let it sour her on the things that she cared about, and she let it fuel her towards making sure that she spent more time and cared about the people that she loved. And I liked that it dealt with that, and it showed you that it's on you and you and your support system to kind of figure it out, because turning to violence and aggression is not the way to go. It's not cool. And I like that they brought that message out.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty deep message for a kids show, especially with that animation style.
Yeah, I can see that, being very useful with, kids that are going through things like that. So I'm hoping that they do kind of work with some children's hospitals.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think that's a good message for those kids.
And I love how Dot is. Yeah, she's the war hero action person, but she's also mom through and through. Like, immediately when the new Terrans show up, she's like, bring it in for a hug. You're all my babies. I love how she treats the Terrans and has completely adopted them as her children. I love that.
Yeah, she's a total badass. I love her. I'm so excited to get to meet her voice actress.
Oh yeah, that's right, because she will be at TFCon LA.
Yeah, I want to ask them if, I doubt they did, but I'm still going to ask if they recorded in the round or not, because there's always such good chemistry and so many good stories when they record in the round, but they probably didn't. So, but I'm still going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Daryl, I know this is all
Poor Daryl. Daryl, were you watching it while we talked?
No, I'm going to watch it all in one big shot. So
it's so good.
I was listening to your reviews and your hot takes and all this other stuff, and it sounds like it's going to be an episode or two that I'm going to really enjoy.
It's a slam dunker. Yeah. I'm so sad they weren't all that deep and well developed.
Yeah,
I wish I had watched it before the show. I wish somebody had told me when we were watching it. We were gonna
I never check my emails, and I still knew what was happening.
Well, he saw it was an email from Charles to you, so he's like, "Oh, I don't need to read this."
Oh my gosh!
Don't want to pry.
That's okay. It's I should have just read everything that comes through my email, even the spam and all the junk mail too. I read all that.
You also could have looked at the show notes doc that we put up every week to plan.
Yeah,
the
or
show.
that.
Meh. I'll get by. I'm here for the toy show. That's what people come to the transmissions for. It's for hear me talk about toys and make mistakes, right? They don't hear me talk about cartoons.
Yeah,
and make mistakes.
I don't know as much about the toys, so this is my. I like doing this, but
yeah. You don't get to be the number one Beast Wars guy by watching all the Beast Wars cartoons.
I still haven't made it through all the Beast Wars. I'm gonna be flat honest.
It's
not
better than Cyberverse.
You've probably seen more than Daryl, so you're probably doing better than Daryl.
Oh my god. I made it through
just buy some toys. Just buy some of the toys and make it up in your head.
I love Inferno. I think he's hilarious.
If you've made it through season 1, your hard work is over, and it's all fun from here on.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's not worse than Cybertron. I watched Beast Wars before I watched Cybertron, so now that my standards are appropriately lowered, I think I could probably watch it again and be okay. I'm gonna be fired after this episode. I'm talking some serious dirt on Transformers Cybertron. I'm gonna.
I mean, I think Josh is the only fan of Transformers.
He really is. I don't know why he picked that or picked us to do it with him, but he's literally the only fan of Transformers. I'm trying. I can't. The only thing I can get behind is our self-proclaimed Thundercracker and Jetfire romance that we've decided is happening. That's the only thing I can get behind. That's it. I mean, but if you see it, they never it's always off screen, and they'll make these funny snide comments. You're like, where's that coming from? And they never actually hurt each other. Like some of the other people get hurt, or they're going at it. They never try to hurt each other. They'll always go the other direction. You got to watch it. You got to watch it with this new lens. Trust me.
Wow. Love crosses faction lines. Huh?
Love crosses faction lines. It's absolutely our headcanon over at More Than Meets the Ear. I stand by it.
All right. Well, that is our review. Unless there are any other comments before we wrap up our review of.
Let me check my page
EarthSpark.
of notes. Nope. I think that's about it. I think I interrupted everybody enough.
I can note that while I was listening to you, I checked all of my sources, and there has been no drop of season 2 or 1.5 yet. So
yeah,
whatever they're calling it, no new episodes if you
March
dropped
3rd.
it anywhere.
So
yeah, let's
all
hope.
Right,
I'm excited. I want to see more.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have long to wait. So it's when this show goes up, it'll be about a week, a little bit more than a week before the new show.
I want Steve Bloom back. Steve Bloom. Starscream. I hope he's in it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the best Starscream.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's very, very. Yeah, I like him a lot.
He's the best living Starscream.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our review of EarthSpark episodes 9 and 10. So let's finish up the show with a little bit of feedback. Okay, so we got a quick note on our Discord from one of our listeners, the man named Bambi. Referring to our last EarthSpark review, where with the episode that featured RC, because I think we had some confusion that we didn't know what classic car model RC was transforming into in the previous episode. And a man named Bambi solved the mystery for us. So he sent us a picture and said pink, and there's RC 1940s Mercury 8. So there you go.
Damn.
I would drive that car.
All right. So it's not even a Chevy at all. There you go.
Nope.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Thank you to man named
Good job.
That's awesome. We need more 1940s, 1950s alt modes.
Absolutely. I'd prefer a classic car as opposed to a 80s hippie van. Cough cough wheeljack, but we're not going to go there.
We'll come back for the Rise of the Beast review and talk about it there.
It's just going to be one long angry rant in rapid fire Trish. Okay, that's what you're going to get.
So it is just going to be like all the other live action movies.
I still have optimism. I'm still in that phase.
Like I said, apprehensive optimism. Apprehensive optimism. I was very surprised in a good way about the Bumblebee movie. I loved that movie.
It wasn't
and I
directed
loved
by
the
Michael Bay.
Cybertron. Exactly. That's what their problem was the whole time.
So the next one is also not directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the films of that director that I'm not a huge fan of, so we'll see we'll see how they do.
All right. Okay, well, that takes us. And that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. So, as always, at the end of every episode, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons. Those are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon. And we really appreciate that support. So that's why we mention them every episode. So thank you again to John 4X11 Good and Demon Tech 82. You guys are awesome. And thank you again to Trish for hanging out with us this week on both Transmissions episodes. So check her out on Transmissions, the toy show, and right here on Transmissions Alt Mode. And Trish, why don't you tell us where we can find all your awesome content online?
Absolutely. So when I'm not hanging out over here with the Transmissions peeps, you guys can also catch me with the crew over at Swerve's Bar Podcast. They have their comic and toy review show at Swerve's Bar Podcast. And then we also do, I'm a player character in the Transform and Rollout Transformers D&D. It's a good time. Sometimes it's not a great time, but it's always a good time. Sometimes there's tears, but it's always a great time over with that gang. And you can also find me as one of the co-hosts of More Than Meets the Ear. At More Than Meets the Ear podcast, or at MTMT Ear, I believe is our Twitter handle. And you can also find me at A Rogue Trish, pretty much anywhere the social media is media.
Awesome. And that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. We will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.